Alright guys, so it's been quite a while since I made an actual video, apart from the couple short ones I posted recently. Life pretty much got pretty busy. I got 2 new jobs and not much time to make much more videos. However, as you've noticed from the last video I just made, I purchased a new car. It's a far cry from everything else I've driven. Obviously, you've seen from my other videos, it's all old 80s GMs. So I figured now with my better paying job, I'll treat myself to something new. And if you haven't already figured it out by the last video I uploaded, it's a 2015 Mustang Ecoboost. Premium with almost every option, including has all the different driving modes, steering modes, heated and cooled seats, air conditioning obviously. It's the 2.3 liter Ecoboost, so you got the oil pressure gauge and the boost pressure. It does have the My Ford Touch, which is very comprehensive, and a lot of people complain about it. It's too hard to use, which from what I've used so far, it's very easy actually. Everything's very easily accessible. You got your phone, your navigation, got your climate control, and obviously your radio. Alright, I've had it just over a week now, and as you can tell, I've already almost put 1,000 miles on it. In that center stack, we got your trip computers, fuel economy. We also got a gauge mode, air-fuel ratio, all this. You can put a gauge right in the middle. The step down, the non-premium Ecoboost will not get these gauges. Instead, it'll be in the middle. But since I have the premium, I have the actual physical gauges. It does have track apps like an accelerometer. You can basically drive around like that with this on, and it'll tell you like how hard you're taking turns, how hard you're braking, how hard you're accelerating. Also got a brake performance. You got 160 to 0, and same with an acceleration timer. You can time all these different things. Beyond that, can't do it during the day because it's only a feature at night, but you can actually change the color of the gauges and the color of the lights, like on the floor, and then they light up in these door handles. Change the color of those. You got driver aids. These are all on because I have the fully loaded model nearly, apart from adaptive cruise control. So I'm going to use all of it. Alright, and as far as the modes go, you got the traction control. The steering modes, you have a choice between normal, sport, and comfort. Basically, the normal is the factory setting. Sport, it makes the steering a lot tighter and comfortable, or comfort makes it a lot easier to turn. And then as far as all the driving modes, you have normal, sport plus, track, which turns the traction control partially off, and then snow and wet, which I've driven one of these in the snow and wet. It doesn't make that much of a difference. However, from what I noticed, it lets you have fun in the snow without killing yourself. And because this is the premium with the performance package, I also have the Pirelli P0 not all season actually. They're only summer tires, so pretty much anything from what I've noticed. It's actually 51 degrees out, and it's still a little too cold for them. They still don't like to grip too much, but it's a lot better than if I drove it in, say, when I test drove one of these first ones, it was only 16 degrees out, and it didn't want to grip for shit. So I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of shit for this, but I did get the automatic. What boiled down to it was that I wanted it as a daily driver. I know some people are going to say, oh yeah, you can daily drive a stick, but I just didn't want to, and I am far from disappointed with it. It's Ford's 6-speed automatic. I'm not sure if it's the one they carried over from the previous generation, but I have no complaints about it. It took a couple, probably by the time I hit 200 miles, it was used to my driving habits and shifts great. Most automatic transmissions I hate because I hate the way they shift, but this one I have no complaints about whatsoever. Unfortunately, it does not have the Recaro seats, but I'm okay with that. These have really very good bolstering in them, so when you're taking in the hard corners, you're not exactly falling out. Alright, let's take a look at the outside. I'm not going to put the hazards on because obviously, if you don't already know, these have sequential turn signals, so I'll be able to show those off. Alright, let's take a look outside. This color is known as the triple tri-coat yellow. It's not a super bright day out, but as you can tell, it's still kind of popping. Up front here, we got HID headlights, the LED running lights. The turn signals are normal bulbs, but then the fog lights, which I just realized that one's out, but it's just because the turn signal's on. The fog lights are actually LED. Very bright and very helpful at night. This also has an active grille, which means once you get up to higher speeds, it actually shuts for better fuel economy. Alright, mine came equipped with these black 19-inch wheels, the Pirelli P0 tires. As you can tell, not very all-season looking tires. They do grip very well. I've taken this in corners very hard and it just grips as long as it's pretty decently warm out. I do have the upgraded brakes, which as you can tell are massive for a car like this. I believe they're 13.5-inch rotors, so that tells you right there. Got the turn signals in the mirrors. And you got the famous Mustang sequential turn signals, which I love. Ever since I bought this car, I'm using them more than I ever have. Not that I didn't, but gas door, you just push and it opens. And you got the trunk releases right under the, or right above the license plate. You push it and can lift it up. I do have the shaker sound system, which includes this subwoofer in it. Trunk space isn't too bad, it's not the best. The seats do fold down back there. And it got the backup camera, of course. Alright, go over the MyTouch a little more. Obviously the phone. It's actually probably locking me out of it because I'm using my phone to record this. You do got the navigation. You can tell it a lot of different commands. You can find various points of interest. And actually you can tell it through the actual sync system, so I'm going to try to.
Please say a command.
Find address.
In Michigan, say the street address including the city.
Alright, see, so you can tell it an address and it'll search for it. Cancel. Cancel. Alright, so yeah, there's that. It's actually a very comprehensive system. Like I said, I've heard a lot of mixed opinions on them, but I absolutely love it. Every time I've used it, it's worked very well. Actually got a menu here. It actually has Sirius Travel Link, which tells you up-to-date traffic, which, if you pay attention, you can see the outlines of all the freeways. There's some in green, some in red. It tells you where the traffic is at, and actually if you have it set to a route and traffic backup happens, it'll ask you if you want to direct around it or keep continuing on that route. So you push the home button to get back. You got entertainment, AM, FM, Sirius, CD, USB, and Bluetooth. Got the SD card there, but obviously since I have the nav system, that's taken up by that.
Let's spin it up, let's spin it up.
Shaker system sounds very good in this car. No complaints from me. Alright, and then you got the climate on the bottom there. You have all the different zones. You got the temperature, or the fan speed. And then you got your heated and cooled seats, which also have buttons down here. So yeah, overall I'm very happy with this car so far. As I've said, I only have about 1,000 miles on it. What I'm going to do is put in periodic update. I can't tell you when I'll do it just because I'm really busy lately. So, just to see how it's holding up. Buying this car, I was a little nervous about the Ecoboost engine, which actually I'll show that to you before I end this video. I was worried about the Ecoboost engine just because Ford's been having a little trouble with their turbo engines, but hopefully now, after years of being able to correct it, they've corrected it by this one, but guess we won't know until we figure that out. So far I haven't heard of any problems, but obviously these cars are still very new. The oldest one was delivered in October, so... The 2.3 liter Ecoboost 4-cylinder. It's rated at 310 horsepower and 320 foot-pounds of torque. It's completely stock so far, except for I've added a Boomba Racing blow-off valve, as you've seen in my previous video, which is right there. So yeah, that's it. Just wanted to show you guys my new car, and if anybody's considering one of these, I highly suggest at least taking it for a drive. Even if you don't like the Ecoboost, if you want a 5.0, these are still very refined cars, and a far cry from the ones that are the outgoing generation. They drive much better, they handle much better. Ford, as far in my opinion anyway, knocked it out of the park with this car.